Well, this is take 2 on my video. I had a banner pop up and I had to start over. So that's our house. You can see with the 2 garage doors. And I can't get the whole thing from here, but I came down a street. And I can see right between these 2 houses to get a view of ours. Because from our street, there's no way you can see the entire house. And that's the garage and first floor, and you can't see the elevation of the first floor, but you can see the second floor. And eventually where the water tank is on top, behind that front part will be a balcony, but behind that will be the 3rd floor. So this video is going to be lengthy, and it's going to be the last one I do for a while because we're at a stopping point. And you know, until COVID's no longer a threat, even my contractor got it. We have to wait for him to get well. And of course, I want to see in which direction work goes for me before I decide to move on. So normally from that street, you know, it's where we come and turn with the car and then head into the garage. So today I have the clicker in my hand. Unfortunately, I have no dogs running around today, making things difficult. So in previous videos, I covered a lot of this, but I'm going to do a complete recap. So this side, a lot of this is garage wall. And then up above, just behind the overhang, is the perimeter wall. And you'll see that in better detail. So, as you can see, I really can't show much perspective on the house from this angle. That's why I ended up going down a street. You know, and here's the opposite side. So let's open up. You know, I never walk through the people door. I mean, we use it, but when I'm shooting the video, I try not to fumble with the keys. So we're inside the garage again, and since the last video I took, one change is that the Equinox is back, because Wednesday I'm going to Kingman, Arizona, and I'm trading that for a 2020 Jeep. You know, I drive so many miles for work that the company cars never reach their age limit with me. They have way too many miles before they're old enough, so I end up with a new car every couple of years. So most of everything here we've covered before. You know, this is the utility side. I have that, what they call blue hose, manguera azul in Spanish. It's kind of like PEX. You know, I jokingly call it Mex PEX. No special tooling. All of those fittings can be installed with just regular wrenches. And this sub panel is for the washer, the dryer. I can put my welder in here, 220 if I need to, and of course it powers the water heater. And I did take one circuit and run all the way across the ceiling and over above my workbench is where it ends up on that fourplex, which lets me have power for the grinder or a trouble light or whatever else I need. So the same guy who's now doing work on the house is the one who built that shelf unit for me. He built this mezzanine for me, and we designed it so the Kia would fit underneath, because the Kia hardly ever moves. You know, that's going to be a retirement, low mileage, you know, reliable car when I get to that age. For now, you know, I always have a company vehicle to drive. And of course, Evie has the Explorer, and my little Ranger, which isn't here, is now sitting in the storage yard where the Equinox was sitting ever since I came off the road for COVID-19. So once I pick up the new car, until the time I actually get called to work full time, you know, once I get that Jeep all set up with my tools and my promotional materials as the Equinox used to be, I'll take it back to the storage yard, and I'll leave it there until such time that I need it and bring the pickup back. So, and I think last video, when I was shooting, I was explaining how much we had reduced what was on this platform. Well, it's been reduced further since the time we did the video. There's all the file cabinets and office furniture that was here has all been moved upstairs. And I just finished another plumbing project that have been bothering me. So you can see that drain line, which services the kitchen, 2-inch ABS, runs all the way along the inside. It used to run in a conduit in the concrete between the patio and the house. Well, I just decided to run it in here, and I also ran the hot and cold water lines inside, because I don't like how that 1 meter wide concrete area turned out. So I'm probably going to jackhammer it out and extend this roof so that it won't need the ground underneath to be supporting it. And I'd like to have some pitch on it for water runoff. You know, from here you can get a good look at the structure of the ceiling. I say all that old white PVC we're going to take to my mother-in-law in Sinaloa, because she uses it. The black stuff, the ABS, is the only thing that I'm using here. So let's work our way upstairs. My four-legged little family member here came to accompany me. Oh, so wherever I happen to be at the moment, he follows me around. Now, we've climbed these steps together many times in the videos. And there's my other one, my little mouse trap. We have no mice and no rats because of this cat. So I don't know how well this is going to take, but you know, we're on the patio. And I covered last time how we're storing gravel and masonry sand under this tarp. Well, my wife wanted to give some aesthetics to the gravel, so she put blocks around it and put flowers on it, and it is probably the better looking part of the building material storage. And you know, as I explained, we have a lot of material here with which we can't do anything as long as we're building, because we need it. So let's take a walk around the outside perimeter. And if I don't cover details in this one, you can watch the previous video. And I talked about the window protective coverings and so forth on that, so I won't get into it again. So we have this 1 meter wide passageway all the way around, and this is a service area. You know, when I showed you from the street down below, you know, that part of the wall is garage, this part's perimeter. But in the future, we're going to have to plaster and paint, or as they call parge, these walls and paint them. And you know, we need an area to put the ladder, and even a meter with the height that the house is going to be will be tough. And a lot of this dirt has to be excavated down, at least at this point. And I'm going to put like graduated terraces in here. It won't be one steady slope. Flat area, step up, flat area, step up, because the dirt level really is too high. I mean, you can see that's the bathroom window and the shower, which is up higher. I'm 5'11", and it's a foot over my head. And you know, that part of the house is buried, and I really don't want that. I need it to go down a few feet anyway. And all of the additional sewer lines that are going to come from the bathrooms in this part of the house are going to connect into this ABS. So some of it will be subterranean, some of it I'm going to have to put covering on to keep it from deteriorating with the elements. So we'll continue. This is the back side, and again, there's always the perimeter wall, and then of course the house wall. This is a bathroom window. This is the window at the end of the hallway, the window for what I'm using for an office right now. And probably the roughest looking part of all of this is those temporary steps that have been there forever, but my wife kind of turned it into a jungle of plants to give it some attractiveness. So I'm going to climb this ladder, bear with me, and we'll get up to the roof. I don't think I've ever done a video up here. Kind of a maze to get up here. So this is a Tucson 7000 elastomeric coat, rubberized roofing. And with it, we mitigated any leaks that were in this concrete. Took a couple coats. It's $100 for a 5-gallon bucket, but worth it. But it's a completely walkable surface. So this cover is temporary, and I showed it from the inside in the last video. But if we look underneath, if you can see where the wall ends from there, and where I'm standing, from here forward, all of this is going to be a balcony. Nothing will be built above it. And there will be a doorway from the 3rd floor to get out here, so we can use it as a balcony with a view. And I love it at night with all the lights on and so forth. It's just really pretty. I really fell in love with Sonora. Never imagined I would. I was so hooked on Baja California as I spent all my time in Tijuana, Ensenada, Rosarito. But yeah, I'm getting to like Sonora. It has its own magic. So from the front section of that temporary roof back here, where I'm standing and where I'm walking around, all of this is going to be a 3rd floor. You can see some of the standpipes for plumbing, for hot water, for cold water, drains and so forth are already in place, although we're going to replace them with ABS. That was an error on the builder's part, putting in the PVC. You know, he said he couldn't do anything else, but once it was done, I figured out that yes, it could have been done. So, and yes, because eventually floor tile will go here. You know, this white roof coating is going to be the floor for a while once this 3rd floor goes on. But I'm sure that's a year or two in the future. Now I'm at a disadvantage here with the iPhone because I can't stop the video, unfortunately. If I stop it, I have to start a new one. So there are going to be some delay times in here. Bear with me. And I'm climbing with one hand instead of two. Alright, so back down the ladder, and we'll do a spin through the inside. And every time I shoot one of these, I keep telling myself that on the next one I'll slow down. And I guess in the beginning of this I moved around pretty quickly, but let's give it a shot. So I'll start back in the living room, which, if you remember, this was our bedroom. And it's going to be a living room. We're not going to flood it with furniture because we have painting and remodeling to do in here. You know, my wife scraped all that old green paint, and it's in that bag, everything she grabbed. And there's room in there yet, and this wall has to be scraped. So even that back wall needs to be scraped to be painted again. I'm not sure what kind of color scheme, but we just took some little pieces of furniture and put them in here, put the stereo in here. It's far from finished. And the bathroom, of course, you know, I've covered many times. This is our only functioning bathroom at the moment. You know, when we were using this as a bedroom, it was right there. Now we have to walk from the upstairs, but it doesn't matter. So there's our wintertime wood burning stove, and I have a little bit of work to do on that before winter. My wife's on the phone in the background, so but we won't be here long. Gas cylinder, and then of course this kitchen, you know, it was here before I met my wife in 2006, and that's all the house was this kitchen and that bedroom. There was no living room, so you entertained in the kitchen, or people came and sat on the edge of the bed and watched TV. The new addition, of course, is this portal that we opened up. And we built this pantry. Now I've kind of makeshift lighting, so bear with me. But this back wall, this was all dirt. It was solid dirt in this area. And the guys, you know, I bought a jackhammer. They dug it out by hand, wheelbarrowed it, you know, out to the street, and then we had a dump truck and a tractor come and get it. And so they made this wall new, this wall was existing, that back wall was new, and that wall of the bathroom was existing. And I had run all this temporary plumbing because this is going to be a utility area. So I wasn't real concerned with aesthetics. I just didn't want the piping running outside. And you know, until we covered this, it still was outside. That's why I have it insulated. This is temporary. This comes from the water storage tank on the roof. You know, and it comes down, so when the water's off, we have 1,100 liters, 300 some gallons of reserve. But right here, these are the new cold and hot water lines that go upstairs. They run in the concrete, they service all the bathrooms and everything. This cold line will just attach to those. And then I have to cut a T in the hot line and attach to the hot. So the infrastructure is all already prepared at least for water delivery when the time comes. Now, in the meantime, all of this stuff used to be crammed in the kitchen, and it's nice to have this pantry area. That was kind of a dream, so we could expand. And now you can actually move around in the kitchen. You don't have to be sitting and move the chair to get somebody to get behind you to get into the bedroom or the bathroom. It's just very comfortable. And I prefer empty kitchens. I mean, for me, other than cabinets and a table and chairs, that's all that should be in a kitchen. We even moved this little water dispenser into this corner, and the microwave, the toaster, and the coffee pot are under that towel. So, let's go upstairs. And what's changed is, I had all these mostly Claude Monet photos, replicas of course, or pictures, paintings. And they were all stored in the garage, and my wife said, well, let's get them out and put them up. And yeah, there's nothing worse for pictures than to be stored, especially in the garage. So, I put hangers, and I don't know if they'll stay permanently in those areas. They're certainly going to look better once there's contrast of plastered and painted walls behind them. And we moved her little chest of drawers from the second bedroom. We're borrowing this dresser, which goes to the furniture that's in the second bedroom. That's part of the first bedroom, this one. So this bedroom, this master bedroom, if you can conceptualize it, it's the size of what the entire house was below, kitchen and bedroom combined. And we're just liking having the space. We haven't invested in furniture because there's a lot of work to do here. I get it. For us, the idea of having elbow room again was very important. I put up curtain rods, and I put, curtains, and they have to stay open most of the time for ventilation. Pretty much this fan in the summer runs 24 hours. Now, it's 99 degrees today outside, but it'll be a low of 69 tonight. By 8 p.m., that fan's drawing in cold weather, or cold air, and I need to put that blanket on to be able to sleep. So it's very, very comfortable. I just wouldn't recommend taking a nap in the daytime. In this closet, I talked about it last time. It's has a long area, and it has a double deck area. In here, it was down in the bedroom, and that bedroom was so small it was really crowded to get into it. Now, there's just wonderful access to get to it. And it's not permanent. I'll put a nice closet in here with iron rods and, sliding doors or something in the future. And the other thing is, since the last video, my brackets came in for the television, and that equipment mount came in. So we don't have to have a piece of furniture sitting there. Now, of course, the wiring is all makeshift, as I explained, because we have nothing but conduits like that sticking out of the wall where the electrical is going to go. The main power box is going to go in that wall straight ahead, where you see those conduits, and you see another hole down below where the conduits come out. And from there, the wires will be fished up, and they go into the concrete slab. And you can see where there's one hanging down at that point that'll go up to the third floor. But there's an entire network of these conduits inside the walls. And the electricians here are very skilled at connecting the electrician's tape to it and pulling them through. So there's another here. I told them, just make sure you give me plenty of outlets everywhere. I would probably have liked to have had another one at this point in the wall, but we didn't get it. But I do have one here because we're planning on putting a mini split in this room for AC and heat, which will get mounted on the wall where the TV is. So needless to say, in the future, the TV is going to have to be moved. So much for this room. And again, we'll take a trip down the hallway. Right turn to the first guest room. You know, really, for my wife and myself, we only need the one bedroom for us, but we have company all the time. I love to have my mother-in-law visit, my sister-in-law visits, and you know, they never complain. They would sleep on a cot in the kitchen, but it's going to be nice to be able to give them a room. And we have this little box and antenna that gets 5 local channels that my mother-in-law loves to watch. So she'll have her TV and her little space in here. I'm going to get one of those little roll-away clothing racks. I get one of those little roll-away clothing racks so she has a place to put her things. So, and then we'll move on to what I'm using as an office for the moment. This will also be a guest bedroom. My office eventually will be up on the 3rd floor. Now in the last video, it was just a skeleton. I only had the desk and a couple other things in here, but now, you know, I've moved my file cabinets in here, that big paper cabinet. Again, it just gives me more desk space too. And this armoire was always our additional closet, and we kept it in here. So it's going to be the closet for probably this guest room, because this room will probably have a single bed, you know, which is going to make better use of space. And these barrels, you know, we store a lot of the winter blankets and bed clothing and winter clothing in those. They were in the garage to keep them dust free, and my wife moved them up here. And of course, as there's more closet space, especially up on the 3rd floor, it's designed to have a very large walk-in closet for a lot of the excess clothing. Now, I'm pretty sure I talked about this last time. Yeah, I'm not going to bother putting a light in, but this is one of the bathrooms. You walk in, there will be a sink where these blocks are, and a toilet behind where the plywood is, and then another wall built to make a shower enclosure. So it'll be a nice size, you know, 3/4 bath. And then I didn't cover, this is going to be a full bath. So this entire front area, which is big enough to be a bathroom in itself, is going to have the sink and the toilet. And this entire area, which is big enough to be a bathroom in itself, is going to be just shower area. Because there's one thing I can't stand for me is not having enough room. And you can imagine some guys are 6'6", 6'7", you know, big guys, and it's just hard to be in a small cubicle for a shower. So for the moment, my wife has a few things tucked in here, and that's fine. So I'm running low on battery. We're just about at the 30-minute mark. Thanks for watching, and once I make some significant progress, I'll do another video to add to the collection. Now I may do some more videos to add to my channel, but they may be some geopolitical discussions on Mexico, you know, and maybe some of the aspects of Nogales. If you're interested in learning more about Nogales, I know most of my friends who watch this have family in Mexico, so they understand it. They understand why we live here, because of the culture, because of the people. They've just been wonderful to me over the last 40 years. But for those of you who don't understand, if you'd like to be exposed, there's a segment on YouTube, a series called El Mundo de Andrea, which means Andrea's World. And she's just adorable. But she talks with a lot of the historians that live here in town. She goes to all of the fiestas, the parties that take place here, the holiday events. She interviews people. So if you'd like to get a look at Nogales and a perspective from the locals, I suggest you look at some of her YouTube videos. Thank you for watching. See you next time.